The draft for the Tennessee Titans is officially concluded. Was it a good one? Was it a bad one? Was it kind of mid? We'll discuss everything and break it all down right here. What is happening? It's a fantastic Sunday afternoon. Your host, Gabriel Pilcher, here is ready to break down the 2025 Tennessee Titans class. But I am not going to do that alone. I very rarely ever do live streams alone. I'm usually accompanied by this ugly man.
I am kind of ugly, but hi, how are you?
Hey, I'm fantastic. Hey, listen, heaven's the best of us.
Not
all right.
Attractive.
That's true. That is true.
And don't judge me. I'm drinking out of a coffee mug that just says "Mom" on it, so don't judge me.
Mom, got it. Perfect. All right. Well, enjoy drinking out of your mom coffee cup while we try to break down this Tennessee Titans draft class. And you know what I'm struggling with the most of this draft class?
What?
Pronouncing some of these people's names.
Yeah, tell me about it. I was hoping to watch somebody else say it, and then that eventually
Yeah. You we had Aziz Al-Shire for an entire year, and you never did say his name correctly even once. You always want to call him Al-Shazir.
I will say this for everyone watching: I am awful with pronouncing names that's remotely difficult. It's like Chig. I don't even try his name. I just say Chig.
Yeah, Chig. But there's gonna be nicknames for sure, like Alec. See, here I am already. Ayamanor. It's one of those situations where you look at it, and then the more you look at it, you start overthinking it. Because I'm Ayamanor, whatever. I'm gonna call him Alec probably a lot, or Mayor. Let's call him or Manor or something. I don't know. We'll have to come up with some nicknames because some of these names in our second round picks the same way. But let's go ahead and just jump right on in. First pick overall was an absolute shock to no one. We took Cam Ward. How do you feel about that pick?
I like it. Man, this offseason I went back and forth on what I thought we should do / what I wanted to do with trading. To be honest, to me personally, Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter was never an option that I wanted to do. I wanted to trade back or get Cam Ward. And we stuck to get Cam Ward. So I think at the end, that's kind of what I wanted to do. He's our guy. Let's see what he does. It's Cam Ward time in Tennessee. I'm excited about it, and I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I was kind of the back and forth. You know how it was. I liked a trade down with Abdul Carter. Like, obviously, it is now official. The Giants really wanted to trade up to 1 and get Cam Ward. If we would have traded down to number 3 and gotten Abdul Carter, that was my initial desire. But just the more the quarterback market and free agency just completely dried up, and the more I just sat there thinking about a young, exciting quarterback, first overall pick. I was like, it's been so long since we had a young, exciting quarterback. So I was like, let's do it. So it got to a point where if we hadn't have called Cam Ward's night, pick number 1, I probably wouldn't have been a little. Really, it's Brandon Allen season. Got it. So yeah, I'm going to give this one an A.
Yeah,
I'm just going to give it an A.
Yeah, I'm going to give it an A as well. Full grade.
It's what I wanted, and it especially with what ended up happening to Shedeur Sanders, it's clear and obvious that he was the number 1 quarterback in this draft class. So, I mean, we got 3 people that are really slow. One of them still going to be the fastest of those 3. So that's not me trying to say that Cam Ward's going to be amazing, but I think he has all the tools to be amazing. Now, I will say also, make sure you're letting us know in the comments what pick you like the best, what pick you like the least, what you think of the overall draft class. Just give all the input, all the 2 cents that you might have. Pick number 2. Let's go ahead and move on to the second one. This is one of the names I already don't really know exactly how to pronounce it. I'm going to pronounce it differently every time I say it because, yes, I've read these names a gazillion times, but I've heard these names spoken not that many times. So I'm name butcher number 1. Here it comes. In the second round, we traded down, which I think that maybe was probably what was best because you can't go from pick 35 all the way to 103 without making a single pick, especially when you have this destitute of a roster. You know what I'm saying? even though I really wanted me some Luther Burden, and I even said it on the Titan Upload Network on the Power Hour show. They had me on as a special guest, and they were asking what our predictions would be. And I said, we're going to be frustrated day 2 because Luther Burden's going to make it to 35, and then we're going to trade out and not get Luther Burden.
That's exactly
and by golly, that's exactly what happened. But anyways, we traded down to pick 52. We got Oluwafemi. I don't even know. I seriously, every time I try to say his name, Oladejo. I think that's how you say the last name, Oladejo. But Oluwafemi. I think they call him Femi though. So Femi Oladejo.
I'm just gonna call him the Edge.
Yeah, the new Edge guy. Just call it whatever number jersey he ends up wearing. We'll just call it that.
Yeah.
I don't know why I struggle with that. Like Chigoziem Okonkwo, Aziz Al-Shire, like these names, I took to him pretty quick. Even a Mecca. I'm going to butcher it now. Emeka Egbuka. Like, I even got that one pretty quick. But for some reason, this Oluwafemi Oladeju is just so hard for me to say, and I don't know why. But by golly, we got him in the second round. He's kind of developmental, and the reason because he was a little middle linebacker is what he was. And then he had 1 year as an edge, who's very raw. He's got huge shoulders and arms, though. But
like you.
Yeah, like me. See? But there's hope. There's hope for this guy. My biggest issue with it is when you're sitting there picking at number 130, or not 135, but you're sitting there picking at 35, thinking I'm about to get a day 1 starter pick. And then you trade it for somebody who's kind of a project, who might not even start. It might be Jermount Jones on one side and Arden Key on the other side. So that part's kind of sad to me.
Yes. Do you want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead and give your 2 cents.
I give this the biggest F I can give it. I hate it so very much. You do not pick in the second round a project. Maybe if it's a quarterback, but like you said, pick 35, get yourself a starter. There's edge rushers out there that you could get that could be starting. There's a receiver, like you said, Bourne, and there was actually even other good receivers left, in my opinion. Now, Luther Bourne is who I kind of wanted, but there was other ones. And you get yourself a starter, help Cam Ward out, get yourself an actual edge rusher that will help us, because I don't think this guy's going to be helping us anytime soon. Like this season, I don't see him helping us much. Maybe in the future, but he's not going to help us much at all. I think it was a horrible pick, terrible pick, and I did not like it at all. If he was going to trade back, get us somebody that's not just a project player that may or may not even do anything in the NFL. I mean, I guess every pick's that way in the draft, but I hated it very much. Still mad about it, honestly.
I see that. Yeah, I disagree with you, obviously. My biggest issue, the trade down was probably the smart thing to do. But my issue is I thought there was better edge rushers still on the board.
Well, that's another thing.
That's what my biggest issue was with it.
Project play on round 5 and round 6 and 7. What the heck are we doing in the second round? Horrible pick. Terrible pick. Mad about it still. To this day.
I see that. I think he would have been better. I think we would have felt better about that if he was our 3rd round pick instead of our 2nd round pick.
Yeah, I would still be a little annoyed, but yes, I would feel better in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round.
And maybe I'm being overly optimistic about it, but we got some steals in the draft later or even post-draft that I think made up for this. I'm going to give it a C-, but I'm very optimistic. I mean, once he gets NFL coaching, he's got 1 year of college coaching at edge. So
just in my experience, and maybe other teams do this better than Titans, but in my experience for the Titans, every time we get a project player, they never work out. That project never works out. We never get a project player, and guess what? 2-3 years, they're amazing. I never, ever see that happen. So maybe this guy can prove me wrong, but in my mind, I just feel like we just picked a second-round player that's not going to do anything for us at all. So that's one reason I was like, that was dumb. Might as well stuck.
I think he had a late 2nd round, early 3rd round draft grade. So, I mean, it's not like we just completely overdrafted him for no reason. But so like the story's not written on him. But C- where I'll sit for now. If we develop him and he becomes a nice edge rusher for us, great. Then we're good. But we'll see how it goes. All right, now our newly acquired 3rd round pick that we got. Kevin Winston Jr., safety out of Penn State. He's a good safety. He is a good safety, and we have a need at safety. I can't remember if this is Amani Hooker's last season or next year is his last season. I think it's this year on his contract. And then Xavier Woods that we signed,
He's
kind
a
of just
nobody.
he's a nobody, and it was a 2-year deal, only $11 million for the 2 years, and we could get out after this year if we want to.
Here's a question, real quick. This safety, and I meant to look this up, and I forgot. Is he strong or free safety?
I don't actually know.
For instance, I'm asking, is he going to replace Hooker or what's the other guy's name? Johnson? What was his name?
Xavier Woods.
Woods. Yeah, where did I get Johnson from?
Uh-huh.
Woods. Is he going to replace a Woods or?
I think a Woods. Of course, also Amani Hooker can play both spots, so I think Amani Hooker is just gonna. I think we should extend him.
I do too. I like Hooker.
Yeah.
Wait, you want to grade him?
Yeah, I give this a B+. I think he's a good player. I think he was a 2nd-round grade, falls to the 3rd best just because of positional value.
Sorry.
Yeah, so I give it a B. It's a need for next year. I think he could be a lot like Kevin Byard. In the fact that we drafted Kevin Byard as a backup in the 3rd round. He was a 3rd round, just like Kevin Winston Jr. So we have him mostly kind of as a role player backup halfway through the season, just like Kevin Byard did in his rookie season. And by the end of that rookie season, he's mostly starting. And then year 2 of him, he's just the starter.
Yeah, it's funny. I didn't like this pick at first when we first got him. Just because, yeah, you're right. Safety will need down the road, but still, in my mind, I was still thinking receiver at this point. I like get us something, And I wasn't happy with the pick. And also, I don't like getting somebody who's coming off an ACL tear. Never have, never will. I mean, sometimes it don't bite you in the butt, but
yeah. Well, nowadays the ACL tears, reconstructive surgeries are just nothing like they used to be. Used to that was like the death's like a little death kiss to your NFL career, and it's just simply not that way anymore. Thankfully,
your leg wasn't so lucky, but
that was 12 years ago when I tore my ACL, so because that's when it used to affect NFL players.
But anyway, more I think about it, more I read about this guy. When healthy, he sounds pretty good, and having a good safety is always a nice thing to have. It's just still safety is just one of those positions that's just not. It's not as game changing as it used to be. I don't know. I don't know how because it's a passing league, but I feel like safety is just kind of overlooked now. But anyway, he seems good, and in the 3rd round, if you can get yourself a solid starter like a Kevin Byard in the 3rd round. I'll take it all day. I guess my mind, I'm thinking offense. I just want to address offense, fix that offense around to help Cam Ward. But at the end of the day, 3rd round safety, he seems to, he might be pretty decent. I'll take it. I'll rate it a B-. I'll give it a B-.
We got a deal for you then if you're wanting some offensive players. Yeah, I give it a B+. A good pick. I think I was kind of bummed about it because I'm thinking we just got Cam Ward, who's as of now throwing to Calvin Ridley, an old Tyler Lockett, and nobody else. And then we get a developmental edge rusher and a safety.
Yeah, that's what my thinking was too.
That's when I was irritated, which kind of reminds me of the 2023 draft class. Remember, I was okay with Peter Skoronski, but then I was like, Will Levis and Tajay Spears, that's what we do in the 2nd round? We get Tannehill and Derrick Henry's backups? What? I can remember thinking that year as well. So things got better for us. On Saturday for several reasons. One, him and I tried to knock off the rust of our old 30-year-old plus bodies and play in a football league. So that was happening Saturday. So that was fun for us. I still feel
we didn't have nothing, so that's good.
That's true. And then the other good thing is we made what I think is some good picks. And like I said earlier, I'm going to butcher these names until I watch other shows that say these names where I'm not just reading it all the time like I always do. And I hear them say it. I'll learn how to say these names. But for now, it's a rough ride because I think I got this one though. Our first 4th round pick, 103, it's Shamir. And it looks like it says Dyke, but it's pronounced DK. So it's Shamir DK, which makes no sense. Literally spelled D-I-K-E, but it's DK. Shamir DK. This was a slight overdraft, I think, but because we ended up getting another 4th round pick and it was a wide receiver who slid for some reason, I'll take it as an absolute good pick here. So he's a fast guy. Transferred to a gazillion different places. I think so. Was it him that one of our 2 wide receivers we just got transferred a million places? But anyways, he's fast. I like him. I was actually, me and my son were just this morning watching some highlight tapes of him and the new guys that we got. I think he looked good. I was okay with it. And he's a 4th-round pick. And I feel like as deep as wide receiver classes are these days, you can absolutely get starters in the 4th, 3rd, 4th, and even 5th round. I give it a B. I'll give it a solid B.
I think it was this guy. There's 2 receivers. You're right. I remember a lot of scouts said that we over drafted, and I guess it was this guy, and the other one people liked. So it all evens out. It's just another body we can throw at the receiving room. I remember what was that? And I read about both these people, and I think it was him. Because I want to say that I remember him saying he's fast, but he's got a lot of stuff he's got to polish and a lot of stuff he's got to get better at. But here's the thing: our receiving core is horrible. So if nothing else, throw some young guys in there to compete and see who comes out on top. You could maybe find a diamond in the rough. So I don't mind us getting 2. Are they both 4th rounds?
Yes. Yeah. We had to trade back up to get in, and we had 3 4th-round picks.
2 4th-round picks, receivers, throw them in the receiver room, see who comes on top. I'm okay with that. Will they be game changers? Probably at best we'll get in maybe a second receiver, but probably they're going to be number 3, number 4 on the rosters. That's about it, probably. But you never know who's going to step it up. So I don't mind throwing some bodies in there and see what happens.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
So I guess I'll give it I'll give it a B-. I don't know if I love Dickey. What did you say?
DK, Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong. I don't mind him, but I like the position, so I'm gonna give it a B-.
Definitely a position need. I think if we switched the wide receivers order that we drafted them in placement, I would give both of them much more favorable rankings.
Yeah, that's true.
At least this first one here. Then we went ahead and addressed tight end. I don't know how you felt about that one.
I was expecting that.
Texas. Mr. Texas guy, Gunnar Helm. And everything about him looks like Texas. Just a big old white country looking boy named Gunnar.
I was thinking Gunnar was a Texas name.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, you fit the whole.
What do you think this means for Josh Wiley?
It means not good, not anything good. Because I feel like Gunnar Helm is a bigger guy. So he's not really fighting Chig for Chig snaps as much. Because let's be honest, Chig is basically just a big slot receiver.
Yeah, he really is.
This guy looks like a do-it-all guy where if he can, polish nicely as a pass catcher, we could have something there.
Is he more of a blocker than a catcher?
I think he's just a both. He's a whatever. He's a either, which is good because I feel like every time we draft, we always do the same thing. We draft wide receiver type tight ends
and hope they can block.
And then we just add a blocker who can basically only block. We haven't had somebody who's just good at both in a long time.
We got Chig, like there's potential there that it can help him learn how to block, but I guess that never really panned out.
I don't think he has enough behind is his problem.
Yeah.
He really does look like just a slightly thicker wide receiver. That's what he looks like.
Yeah. But so you think Josh Wiley's probably gonna be pushed back now?
I would say Josh Wiley's probably the one getting the crap into the stick.
Every draft, you get people in the late rounds like, oh, this is a steal. If this happens. And, Josh Wiley is one of those people that was a later pick that everyone's like, he could turn out to be something, but I don't think he ever will. Yeah. Big guy, but no.
5th round pick, though, so yeah. I'm not overly upset when a 5th round pick doesn't work out. But I give this one a B, maybe a B plus. Maybe B plus is a little too favorable. But I think we needed that position. You know what I'm saying? And we didn't do this in the 2nd or 3rd round. If we went tight in the 2nd and 3rd round, I'd be like, oh, I'm not sure if that was what we should have done. But I'll take it in the 4th.
This is what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say C plus. C plus because I think he actually is not horrible because he can do both and not bad. But just the position is why it's C. I'm like, let's get another edge maybe because we're still bad at that position. Or get more of a position that I think is more important because I've heard Callahan doesn't use tight ends much in his offensive schemes. That's just not a priority of his. And so I don't know how big of importance that is, but he seems like a decent player, so I'll take it. So C plus, I'll give it.
You're very harsh. All right, our last 4th round pick that we traded back up to get didn't really give up much. It was mostly like we gave a pick and then we gave 2 picks and received 2 picks, but all these picks were only slightly different from what our original picks were anyway. We did it with the Ravens. And this is where we got our steal of the draft. I feel like every year, every team says, oh, this guy's our steal. This was our steal of the draft, and that was Alec Name butcher incoming. Alec Aomanor. 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 I don't know. I don't know what syllable is supposed to be enunciated what way, but something like that. I watched his tape, and this dude's legit. I don't know what. Stanford last year. But this is a guy that there was even articles because people shared it after the draft was over or after we drafted him, where there were actually articles written by people saying why Alec Aomanor could actually sneak into the first round. So like this guy was at least supposed to be a second or third round pick. The fact that he slid all the way to the back of the fourth, that's why the Titans were like, okay, we got to go get this guy. That's why they did it. I think it was a fantastic move. I think this was our best pick in the draft, minus probably Cam Ward. But just because of the value, I'm giving this one an A plus might be a little too giddy. So I'll say A. I'll give it an A.
I'll say B plus. I could go A because you're right. From everything I heard, that he was a steal. So I might be being a little harsh to B plus, but I like it. And I can't remember who it was. It may be on A&Z Sports. It may have been someone else, but I remember them talking about this guy before the draft, and we got him in the fourth round, so that's pretty good. So I'll take it. Again, like I said with the other receiver, just throwing some more young bodies in there. See if we can get someone to step up. Be like, okay, this guy looks like he's a diamond in the rough. Because right now, Tyler Lockett's old. Calvin Ridley, he was a 1,000-yard receiver last year, but you never know when Father Time is going to hit him. So
and he's old as well. Yeah, he'll turn 31 in December.
So we need some new bodies in there. So hopefully one of these people that we drafted will step up, because I'm just like, right now as it is, going into next offseason, receiver needs to be another thing to address again. Every offseason we say that.
We won't have anybody in the mid-20s. We'll literally have our 2 30-year-olds and then these 3 young receivers. We'll get to one of those young receivers.
Was Tyler Lockett a 1-year deal?
Yeah. It was just a $4 million deal.
Next year?
Yeah, it's a $4 million deal up to 6. Which usually I'm fine with those up to whatever's, because it means if they went up to those numbers, I mean they actually did something good on the field for us. So I'm okay with that. All right. I feel like we would have been much happier with our wide receiver picks, like we said earlier, if you would have just flipped them. Yeah. If we would have gotten Alec at the beginning and Shamir DK at the end of the fourth. But I'll take them both. Some young receivers keep an eye on. That'll make things like preseason a lot more exciting.
Yeah, well,
watch these people run around instead of Traylon Burks, because that's all Traylon Burks can do is run around and then get hurt.
Traylon Burks, I forget about him since I was even been on a team. But anyway, I would say with Cam Ward and maybe some of these new receivers to see what they got. Hopefully training camp and preseason could be kind of fun to watch to see what they do.
Yeah, should be.
Now I would say our backup quarterback situation, nothing's fun about that.
I agree. That's what I was about to say. Hopefully we don't just play Cam Ward a drive and then let Tim Boyle and Brandon Allen duke it out in the second, third, and fourth. That'll be boring. But at least maybe they'll have some exciting-ish receivers to throw to.
Yes, exactly.
All right, let's move to the 5th round, where we had 2, but now we only have 1 5th round because we kind of did some maneuvering there to get back up in the 4th to get Alec Aomanor. So Jackson Slater, he's a guard / center, very versatile. And I was talking about Gunnar Helm seemed like a good old country boy earlier. This guy also seems like a good old country boy. I think he's a good developmental piece. Like, this is the kind of lineman you want. And guard, positional wise, just not even close to a tackle. Like, you don't take chances on 6th round tackles very often. They're pretty well going to be a bust. It's like Jalen Duncan is exactly what I was about to mention. So Jackson Slater, I think he's got some nice potential playing there at Sacramento. He's got some good potential. I think best case scenario, he could be next in line to replace Kevin Zeitler after Zeitler's gone. Worst case scenario, he can be our backup for Cushenberry, backup for Skoronski, and then obviously backup for Zeitler because he is an old fella. So I like this pick. Now, obviously, a B in the 5th round is not the same as like a B in the 2nd round. It doesn't carry as much weight for a team, but like I would give it a B. Like, we needed some young O linemen.
I don't mind it because you're right. We needed some depth. We needed some young talent, though. And maybe he's just going to be a 5th round pick his whole life and just nothing happened. And maybe he could develop, be pretty good because Zeitlow's going to need replaced sooner or later. You know what I mean? So maybe it's him. Maybe he has an excellent training camp, and if he does get some playing time, he steps up, and we have an answer to replace Zeitlow, or maybe not. But if he's not a 5th-round pick, it's not like, oh, you wasted a 5th-round pick. You know what I mean? So I like it. I would give it a B.
Yeah. Now this is a me problem, and this is why you come to our show for humor and comedy and good looks, because my knowledge of the draft ends at like the 5th-ish round.
Yeah.
Like once people start getting picked 6th and 7th round, I'm like, I might have heard your name once or twice, but I have not watched a single play of yours. Any opinion?
Played for some of my teams I watched,
right, like the Vols or something. So, like, I'll be 100% honest with you. Cornerback out of California, Marcus Harris. I don't know him from Adam. I'm in my basement right now. He could be sitting right across the room on the couch. I wouldn't have a clue who that feller was. So,
besides
that's terrible. Besides an intruder, I'm like, I did not invite you into my house, sir. But so besides that, I just don't know. I simply don't know.
I don't know much about him. Go ahead.
Fine. I mean, he's a draft pick. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know much to say good or bad. The only thing I know is cornerbacks, one, you can have a bunch on the field at one time. So you need a lot of bodies. So this is probably just throw another body in the cornerback room, see what happens. I hope people say, and people like to say, oh, you got to steal because everyone says that. So maybe he's not. But I did hear people say he has good ball hawk abilities. So, maybe he might turn aside. I'm drawing a blank. Who was the cornerback we drafted last year?
Jarvis Brownlee Jr.
Yes, maybe he might be a Jarvis Brownlee Jr. and maybe he'll never develop to anything. But we are into that late stage of the draft where if they don't develop to anything, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, but if it's a 6th-round pick and they're not ever a starter and they just kind of are on the rookie contract and afterwards they just go somewhere else, is that really a bust? Not really.
And nothing else, maybe he could be a nice special team player.
Yeah. All right. And last pick in the 6th round, we didn't have any 7th-round picks, which, let's be honest, 7th-round picks are just undrafted free agents that you get to have first dibs on. Khalil Mullings, he's a running back, and again, just fine. He's a thicker dude, so
he's a power back, which isn't that what we wanted? A power back,
just gonna be a power back to finish a drive,
which we needed that, to be honest. So I don't mind that. So I'll be very generous today and say that's a B+. Just because I heard that he's really good at doing that, and that's what we need. We don't need someone to break out 50 yards. We just need someone to give us a 4th and 1, 3rd and 1. We needed a back for that.
Gotcha. Yeah. So that's our draft class, and I would say that's a wrap right there. But then one thing that happened, which no one's been able to explain, why did Xavier Restrepo go undrafted?
Well, it's because he did so bad in all of his scout. Is it scouting combine or was it pro day that he sucked at?
It was his pro day that he sucked at, and I know he did it with a bad, I think it was a hammy, they said.
But here's the thing: is everyone knew that he's not the most athletic, person out there.
Top speed.
Yeah, but he gets open. He plays smart and he plays aggressive. He's got good hands. There's a lot to like about him. Now, did I think he was going to be 2nd or 3rd? No, I was thinking he was going to be more of a 4th, 5th, or 6th. Maybe even 7th, but like the fact that he went undrafted to me was a little crazy and tells me that I'm the opposite. But GM still put too much stock in pro days and scouting combine. I never do, and I think people do.
Yeah, well, here's the thing: he was late 2nd, early 3rd round drafts is where he's supposed to go. Late 2nd, early 3rd. Worst case scenario, he could drop into the 4th. Because I can remember saying, I want us to get Xavier Restrepo in the 4th round, but I have a feeling he's not falling that far. And he went undrafted. So I think I have a much better view of this whole draft class as a whole because Xavier Restrepo, it's like we got a free 3rd round pick. We'll just say 3rd. Worst case scenario. We'll say
I don't get that.
Round pick.
I actually don't get that.
Unless they really, unless he was slow. Like I know he ran like a 4.8, but good gracious, that's crazy.
I just feel like, yeah, he's not going to outrun people. We know that. But can he still just find ways to get open like he did in college? We know he has a good, repertoire with how was the one before? Chemistry with his quarterback.
Camaraderie.
Yeah, we know he has that. I'm excited. Maybe he'll work out, maybe he won't. But like you said, it's nice that he was he was an undrafted free agent because I thought if we was gonna get him, we would have to spend a 4th round on him or a 3rd round,
Yeah.
but we didn't.
Which I was more than willing to do, but we got
But
him
so
for
now-
basically free.
So now you mention it, it does bring in a position that I think is still weak, to be honest. But we do have 3 young receivers that at least we can keep our eyes on and see what they do.
See if I can say their names. Shamir DK, Alec Eleanor, something like that, and then Xavier Restrepo. Those 3 receivers are going to be exciting. So sadly, I'm out of time because I actually have previous engagements that I'm 2 minutes late for now. So I like it. I like the draft class. My least favorite pick at this point is still our 2nd overall pick. No, our 2nd round pick, not overall, but our 2nd round pick. But that could still be something. We'll see. I like it. I give us an A-. Go for it.
A-. Okay.
Actually, most people, like things that aren't Titans related, are saying Titans are one of the best drafts this year. Which that never happens. Nobody ever says the Titans have good drafts, but like Pro Football Focus, I think
that's a little. I'm gonna say B. A B. That 2nd round just sticks in my craw, but I think we had an excellent day 3. I would agree with you. A good day 3, and then including the
Xavier Restrepo.
Yes. So I agree with you. I'm gonna give us a B. Maybe I could do B+, but I just thought that 2nd round we just didn't do good enough. But anyway, I'll say B+. A B.
B. For me, it was A-, but then getting Xavier Restrepo for free for no reason at the end of the draft, that ups it to an A. So even though he's technically not a part of the draft class, but he kind of is part of our rookie class, and you know what I'm saying. So because of that, I'm going to give us a flat A. Maybe this is the old Gabriel from 2021 and earlier, the positive poly Gabriel. Maybe that's what that is, but I'm excited.
Cam Ward time.
It's Cam Ward time, baby.
Cam Ward is the quietest 1st round overall pick ever. No one talks about him. All they want to talk about is Shedeur Sanders or other people, but no one talks about Cam Ward.
Which is exactly what they're saying in the all over Twitter as well. But that being said, we'll have plenty of time to probably do deeper dives into these players. But again, I was kind of short on time today, and we're actually technically already over 30 minutes. So with that being said, we're just going to get on out of here, tighten up, peace out, and all of that jazz.